Great. Welcome. Hi, my name is Lisa, and you're actually joining us here on one of the first episodes of Anteros. Anteros is a company that actually is focused in on developing new agricultural techniques, if not really new, maybe going back to the old ways where things were done without the use of chemicals or things that harm our earth. So we're excited today to start talking about some of the concepts that we'll be implementing on a piece of land down in the south of Italy in the region called Puglia, where we have 11 hectares of land, and we're going to be growing and experimenting and doing all different types of experiments to improve agricultural techniques. But today we're going to focus in on something that is to help the property that is on the land to improve the health and wellness of people. So we're really excited today to meet with Yannick Bendorn, who is an expert in electroculture. Through conversations with Yannick, he's introduced me to a new concept, a concept that how you can use electroculture techniques to improve the energy of your home by connecting to the Earth's magnetic resonance for well-being. So we're excited to do it. Yannick can be found on his channel on YouTube, and we'll put a link below to his channel. But I'd like to say welcome, Yannick, to this conversation and to this channel. How are you tonight?
Good. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you, Lisa. And I hope it will be very interesting for everybody what I have to share.
Terrific. We're very excited, and I think we have what we have here is a couple different screens, and Yannick is going to be sharing with you maybe some of the concepts through a whiteboard, which is great. So Yannick, today what I'd like to start out with was just asking you a little bit about what is this concept of connecting to Earth's magnetic resonance? What does that mean to you, and what are the benefits for humans by doing this?
It's all living organisms on Earth live in the Earth magnetic field, and it was discovered, and there are some science articles also about that when locally the Earth magnetic field is increased or a little bit amplified, that it will be very beneficial for all living organisms, and so also for us. I work a lot with that for plant growth in agriculture and for the gardens, but it's also interesting. It's also interesting to do in a home, in a house, and also even in our sleeping room. When we increase the Earth magnetic energies, then when we go to sleep, we will recover more quickly and maybe need also less sleep. An example, Justin Christoflo is a pioneer in that field in the beginning of the 20th century. He lived around 1918 he worked on the field of electroculture around 1918 to 1938. And he also advised to put kind of wires and kind of systems under the bed or even under the house to increase the magnetic field locally. And he slept only like 3 or 4 hours in the night, and he was very healthy. He stood very healthy, very long time, and he worked a lot. And so he is also the proof that it works very well. On plant growth, you see that also when we do this in gardens, sometimes we have double growth of plants. And now in houses, it's also very interesting to do. And for sure, when you begin to build a house, when you do it from start, then it's a lot better than when you do it when the house is already built. It's a little bit more difficult to install, but it's also possible.
It's also possible. That's a good point. So Gustav Flo, it sounds like he's an expert in electroculture, and if we could I'll try to get a link from you about his books and his work, because it's really important to do that. When you and I met,
yes, there is a book. Here I have the book that's the French one, but that was also translated in English, of Justin Christophe Flo, that you find on Amazon and also on my internet site.
terrific. Yes, I
That's
have
one
one
book
already.
of him of 1925. It's very interesting.
Terrific. That's good. So when you and I had a chance to meet in person, you showed me what it felt like within your garden. You had these electrical wires, this way to increase the connectivity with the Earth's magnetic resonance in there. And you asked me to do a simple test about my muscle strength. And in one place that without it, you were very easy to take my arm and put it down. When I was in the place where you had this system set up, my muscle strength was significantly different from that. And I thought that was so interesting. And I thought it would be a very important thing to put into the house on there. Is there, so you were saying that Gustav Flo put this into his homes, and he recommended this when he was discussing about electroculture. So I think that's a very interesting type of thing. So we could actually, hopefully people will get a little excited about this idea and think about it as they're building homes. The home that I'm doing right now is an existing home, but it's really mostly the framework of a home, and we've torn out all the flooring and we're putting in new flooring. So we're going to be implementing it. And I thought today what we'd want to do is to actually go forward and talk not just about the theory of it. So the theory is that it's an extension of electrocultural techniques that benefit any living organism to support their health and wellness. It's documented from the plant sector, where you are improving growth. We see that the same type of benefits for humans and any living creatures and animals. So what we want to talk about here is how do we implement it specifically into a home? We're at the stage where the flooring is already up in this home in particular. And we want to talk about, first of all, what are the materials that are needed in order to do this? And is it an expensive process to implement this, Yannick?
Oh no, it's not expensive at all. It's just more about knowledge, how to do it, and then you can use really not expensive materials. Now, I explain how to do it with not expensive material, but you can also buy some materials that are completely ready-made and ready for use on my internet site too. So how to do, or which materials? The first material is just galvanized steel wire. So it's very easy. You can find everywhere in the world almost. It's not so really expensive. It's the same wire that is used for fences in agriculture. So it's very classic galvanized steel wire. You can use the steel wire of 1.5 square millimeter, or 2 or 3 or 2.5 square millimeter. It can be fine or more thick. It will work. Mm-hmm. And then I use also a magnet that I coated with beeswax to improve the certain energy properties. But you can, if you don't have beeswax, you can also use no beeswax and only the magnets. But I improved it with beeswax and with some other little things. I don't tell everything, but all my little secrets. But if you want already the basic techniques, you can already use, and you will already have a lot of effect with just a magnet and a galvanized steel wire. But sure. I improved a lot of those techniques, and so I put beeswax. I put also a Lakowski coil inside. and the magnets. And so and then this is like a cylinder magnet, and this magnet together with the galvanized steel wire that will be put in the floor of the house, under the floor or in the floor, in the concrete, or below the boards, or below the ceramic floor, or whatever. This will create like a magnetic antenna with the Earth magnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
And to make that process happening, the wire and the magnet needs to be really oriented very well north-south with the Earth magnetic field. If you
So
don't
let's stop there. Let's just go. I want to take it a step at a time. So you're saying all you need is a combination of wire, galvanized steel wire, and it can be 1.5 square millimeters to 2.5 square millimeters in thickness.
Yes.
Then you use magnets. Now, the magnets that you have are cylinder type magnets, and you've coated these magnets with a beeswax and some other elements, and it's a rounded coil. Beeswax is interesting because what bees are doing have so many medicinal and health properties. So it's intriguing. We'll have to understand that. So you do that and you put it underneath your flooring. Is there types of floorings that it works best under, or it's equal under any material type of floor?
Yes, I will explain some more details how to do it concretely. But to come again to why the beeswax, the beeswax will bring an effect of cosmic energies. The bees are connected with the cosmos and the cosmic waves and the energy from the sun. It's yellow too. And the magnet, it's more earth energies. It's really the magnetic field of the earth. It's really earth energies. And the two are in balance, or or also complementary. And we need the two energies. And so and also in beeswax, you have a lot of medicinal properties, and you have a lot of you have thousands and thousands of different molecules that corresponds with all essential oils corresponding with all the flowers the bees have visited. So it's very rich in different natural molecules, and each molecule will be like excited through the magnetic field and will radiate, or like in resonance, it will radiate their proper energies or their proper frequencies that are very beneficial. And so we will benefit from the Earth magnetic field and its frequencies, like the Schumann resonance frequencies. And we will also benefit from the cosmic energies from the beeswax. So that's why I put beeswax.
That makes so much sense. Thank you. It sounded very interesting when you said beeswax in particular. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much. Great. So those are the materials. And I love two things that I think that are really fantastic about this idea is that you are using materials that are not very expensive. And it's a very simple way of improving your health and wellness without interfering with anything. One last question. Does it do anything to protect against electromagnetic frequencies or any negative frequencies that come into that we're subjected to in life?
Yes. It's an indirect protection in a certain way. It's like the Earth magnetic field is very important also to protect against the magnetic waves from the sun. If it creates like a shield, and here you will have like a dome or a shield effect on the house against the electromagnetic pollution.
Love
But
that.
the electromagnetic waves will still come to us, like the Earth magnetic field of the sun still, or the energy still come to us, but not too much. It's in balance in a certain way. And with electromagnetic pollution also, it's like it will give a kind of protection, but our phones and everything will still work.
Fantastic. It's like the very expensive protection I have against electromagnetic frequency, except it's for a reasonable price and it actually is very natural. I love that. I love that combination.
And what it will do, it will increase our energy, our life energy. And so when we will have a lot more energy, we are naturally more protected against outside stresses. That's why when we did the test, the muscle testing, on a zone, on an area with the antennas and without, you feel directly the difference, because your energy is more balanced, is more centered, and then you are less influenced by outside stresses and also the electromagnetic pollution.
Right. I
so
felt
it's very, very good.
Yes.
And a lot of people that are electrosensitive, when they do that, it increased a lot their life, their life quality, their sleeping, everything, because they become again connected with the Earth magnetic frequencies. Because the problem of that pollution, of that electromagnetic pollution, is that it will disconnect us from the Earth magnetic frequencies. Because the Earth magnetic frequencies are very low intensity, and our electromagnetic pollution is quite high intensity. It's like 100 times higher, and so it will disturb our natural antennas in a certain way.
That's fantastic. That makes so much sense. It was very clear when I felt that. I love that. So that's the theory of it, and those are the basic materials. So right now we talked about this. This video is actually going to be telling us specifically how to implement it, using the example of the house that I have right now as a proxy to do this. So if we could now go into this section of the practical side of it, where we're saying, how do we actually install this? So I spoke with my architect and engineering teams, and they have some specific questions. They want to know the positioning, specific positioning of these actual galvanized steel wires and the magnets, how you do this, and then the distance between them, and where the magnets go, and any other specific information on how we do that. So can I start you off by saying, how do you orient them? Or if you could take a room as an example and say, this is how you draw a room and say, this is how we implement this process.
So I will show you on the board if it's okay.
Terrific. Great. Thank you. I love the whiteboard.
So you see me?
I do. I'm going to take my video off so they can focus on you.
So I will show you. So if we have a house, we just house, simple house.
A pretty house.
So if we have the floor, we will, if the north is here, north, south, then we will put the wires like this. In the floor. But it's a very simple drawing, and we will put the magnetic antennas here, like
so
this.
You're orienting the actual wires themselves north to south. Is it a direct north to south 100%, or can you deviate slightly north to south? Like not quite north, not quite south?
No, it's very important to put really very precise north-south, maximum 5% of deviation, but it's better even only 1 or 2%, or 1 or 2 degree. It's really the best. The more it is precise, the better it will work. So we will put the wires really north-south. So if we have a wire, so we put it really in the concrete floor or below. When you make a hole to make your concrete floor of the house or foundations, you can put the wires below it, north-south. The wires can be like 5, 10, 20 meters. So the wall width of the house or length of the house, north-south, always north-south. Even if the house is not oriented well north-south, it's not a problem. What is important is to put the wire exactly north-south. So
okay, so wire north-south should, when you put it into a room, should the actual wire itself be the length of the actual room, or can you connect them with magnets in the middle, or do the magnets have to be on each end of the room?
The best is to put one magnet on each wire. That's the most easy way to do.
Okay.
But you can also put only one magnet and connect the wires together, but then you have a certain way to do it. I will show you.
Okay, let's do that. Yep. Sometimes you can't have the wire the exact length.
Then if the floor is here, then you can, if here is the south, then you put at the extreme south the wire with the magnet, and you connect like this, the wire like this, for example. But the energy will always go from the south to the north, always.
Right.
Even in the southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere of planet Earth, it will always come from the south to the north, the south of a compass to the north.
Okay. Okay.
And so you can connect the wire and go through the magnet like this, or you can connect them like how to say, like you put the wires around like this, around the other wire.
Okay.
You can connect them like you would say like this, and then like this, and go around like this, for example. It will work.
And what's the maximum length that so if you're putting the magnet on the south, what's the maximum length that you say is good for in order to work well for the length of the wire?
The length, you can even make a big building for industry of 100 meters, and you can put one wire with one magnet. It will work. The energy will not be disrupted by the length. It's not a problem, the length. It's really the orientation that is important. And with one antenna, you can go hundreds and hundreds of meters. It's not a problem. But I would advise not to do like this, because if you don't connect it very well, it will not work, and then it will be a part that will not work. So the most easy, it's to, or otherwise you can, what you can do too, to limit the risk, it's to put like wires for each, doesn't work well. For each 3 wires, you can put a magnet, for example. But you can do also like this.
Ooh, I think you need a new pen.
No, it works, but it's
okay.
But
if
like this.
Right, ideal would be a magnet for each wire. Can you just draw how that looks? Because I think that's the safest approach, is to have one magnet per wire.
Yes.
Okay. On the south
and it's not
side.
Expensive. When you do the work, you ask to build to people that work in building to make the concrete. It will cost like I don't know, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 euros or more. Those antennas, it will cost maybe, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 euros. So it's
Exactly.
it's really not expensive, and it will change your whole life, the energy of the whole house for lifetime. So it's really not expensive. And
Right.
but what you can do too, when you have the concrete, you can also put the wires that go through outside, like this,
Okay.
and then put the magnets here where you can reach them. So you can also put them away or let them on it, that you can reach them, that it comes out of the concrete or below, that you can make a hole and you put just the earth on it. And in the house, you have the wire in the concrete, but outside you can connect with the magnet. Why can this be interesting? Because sometimes some people are very sensitive, and sometimes it's like too much energy.
Yeah.
And then you can disconnect, and you will always have the magnetic effect, because the wire will become like a giant magnet, the whole wire.
Right.
But when you will put this with the antenna with it, it will be also increased, you see.
Right.
The magnetic antenna is also to polarize or to give the direction of the magnetic field in the wire, because sometimes the wire can be magnetized in other ways if you bury it somewhere, because it has for different reasons the magnetic orientation in the wire can be it's iron. So if it touches a magnet or magnetic field, it will be oriented in a certain way. And so when you will connect to the magnetic to the magnetic antenna, it will orient the magnetic field of the wire all in the same direction, and that is very important. But as soon as you have done this, it will create an energy that will stay there, and even if you then take away the magnet, the energy will stay there.
It still goes there.
It will stay magnetic.
Terrific. All right, so Yannick, let's stop there. Let's have two questions to do for this. So we're clear it's a south to north orientation with the magnet on the southern side.
Yes.
So two questions, and I'll say the two questions and we'll start with the first one. First, do you put it in the ground underneath all the layers of flooring, or do you put it within the cement facade? That's the first question. Yeah, that's the first question. And
you can put in the ground below the concrete, below all the layers of flooring, or you can put in the layers of flooring. You do like you can, when you are building the house, you can put it below or in the concrete of the foundation of the first layer of the flooring.
And is there a preferred, or is there a best practice on this, or is it just as it's easier to do?
I would put it in the concrete at the best. It's to put it in the concrete of the flooring, because in the concrete you have already like a fence of iron rebar, and this then it will be connected with that fence with the
material itself.
Just with that iron material that will also magnetize in the good direction, and that's important, because if that iron material is not in the good direction and not magnetized in the good direction, then it creates a disturbance in the house. It creates it's good when they do the concrete floor directly to connect the wires with the iron that is inside the concrete, and so when they put the liquid concrete on it, it will be all inside. It will be all inside.
So it's
And
essentially before you put the first layer of concrete down.
yes, it's best. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. That's really an important point.
Yes, if you want really make the best of it, then you put it really in the concrete and connect it also with the iron in the concrete. Yes.
Terrific. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. And then you have these wires going across. What's the ideal space between the wires to lay that out?
Ah, yes, that's also important. You can put between the wires, you can put 1 to 1 to 1.50 meter, 1 to 1 meter 50 in between. In the field, in the garden, or in agriculture, I put a wire every 1 meter 50. In the house, you can do this too, or 1 meter. The more you will put, the better it can be. But already each 1 meter, I would advise 1 meter. It's good. It's very good.
So the 1 meter would be like a best practice to do that. Okay.
Yes,
That
I
makes
would
a lot of
advise
sense.
this.
Yeah.
My intuition say this. Now 1 meter 50 is also good, then it will be less energy in between. So 1 meter is very good. Very good.
So 1 meter is very good. So let's go back though to the installation again. So let's try. I want to make sure that everybody understands that, as well as me, as my team, when we're installing this material. So you have the floor right now. Before you put the first layer of concrete, that's where you want to put the wires? Or do you want to put it in this between that first layer and the second layer of concrete?
Normally you put 1 layer of concrete, I think.
Okay.
So you put in that layer, in the first one.
So when you actually lay the concrete, you then put the wires in when the concrete is wet. Is that how you do it?
It's before you put the concrete. When they put the concrete, they prepare the floor. They put iron to make the concrete strong, to make the concrete hold together, and then you put the wires on that iron, and then they will come to put the liquid concrete on it that will mix with the iron, and the concrete will harden itself, and everything will be inside.
Terrific. Yeah. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
If the concrete is already done and you want to put a wooden floor above it or something, then you can still have some place and put the wires on the concrete on top of it, between the wooden floor and the concrete, for example.
Yeah, okay.
You can do also. But if you put like ceramic, how to say that, carrelage,
tiles?
Yes, tiles, then on the concrete, then maybe you don't have enough space between the tiles and the concrete. It depends. If you put a second layer on it, you can put the wires also on it. But in a home where the floor is already there, you can put, for example, and you make a new a ceiling, you can put the wires in the ceiling, for example.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's talk about that. So instead of putting it on the floor, you could do it on the ceiling. Okay.
Yes. Yes. For example, I will show. So here, if we have a ceiling of the house, and the second floor, second floor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know if we see it very good.
Yeah,
here,
that works.
so
that
it's
works.
The second floor. Here it's the first floor. Here the second. You can put here for example, in the ceiling, or from under, you can put it, or from above, and then it will also influence the whole house. But it's better, the optimum is to put it really on the earth, in the first layer of the concrete. But if it's already done, you can put it here too. Yeah.
Terrific. Okay.
I
Great.
know a winery where they have put the wires with the magnetic antennas on top of their huge vessels of wine that were where the grape juice was turning into wine, and he saw really a very beneficial effect. It was a lot better wine than in the area without the magnetic wires that were put on top of it. So it works too. It works too.
Terrific. Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like this is a quite a simple thing. So you let's go back to the magnets again. So do you only put the magnets on the southern orientation of the rods, or is it both sides?
Yes, only on the south. Yes, it has no it doesn't have any beneficial effect if you put it on the north side. It has to be on the south side.
Okay.
So the south that you see on a compass.
Okay.
So I can show you a compass. So moment, take a compass. Here, for example, here compass. So normally, so you see, you have north-south. It's opposite way here, but it's because I hold it vertical, so you don't see it very good. But you always need to put the wire on the south, no, the magnetic antenna on the south and the wire to the north, always.
Got
An
it.
example.
Okay.
I will show you an example. Here, if we see it, yes. So the magnetic north of a magnet is always indicated with red. It's also on a compass. The red needle, the red is what shows the north.
Got it. Okay.
So we have always to put it like this. You see that the compass is like this, so that the wire on the north side shows the compass like this, and on the south side it shows it like this. You see?
See,
Yes.
gotcha.
I think we see it,
Right.
like this.
Okay.
And if you and not in the opposite, right? It has to be like this. If the compass works well, you will see it like this.
Got it.
And that's very important. The compass is really the reference with the Earth magnetic field. So that's what gives us the orientation and yes, and the right orientation, and nothing
Okay.
else, and nothing else.
All right.
Only
Okay.
the compass counts.
A few more questions. First, on the steel wire themselves, do you need to treat those wires for any kind of anti-rust or any kind of protection for them before you install them?
No, not really. If you put in the concrete, if you put the thicker the wire, the longer it will last. But in the concrete, it's already protected by the concrete, so it will rust a little bit, but not much. It will not be really a problem. So if you put like 2 to 3 square millimeter wire, it will hold maybe 1,500 years in your concrete.
1,500 years, 1,500 years.
50 years to 100
Oh, 50.
years, maybe.
Okay, that was exciting.
But I don't think 1,000 years, maybe it's It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's too
I think we won't
complicated.
have the house then. Okay, that's great
But
news. Okay. All right, that's a very important thing. And then number two, so as you're saying, we're doing this throughout the house and there are multiple rooms in the house. We're going to lay it out per room. Do you do anything to connect the rooms or you just do it per room?
yes, a good question. When you put it on the floor, it will radiate all the floors above it. So even the rooms, everything. So you don't have to put on each floor the
Yeah,
antennas. If it's already on the first floor, it's okay. You don't need to put.
you don't need to put it up on the floor. But what
It
about
will.
like a room adjacent to each other? I have the living room next to the
Yes,
room.
if there is a room adjacent, then you need also to put the wires because it will only have effect above it. It will not
Right.
have effect on the side of it.
Do you need to do anything to connect those adjacent rooms or you just lay it out per room,
Yes,
south to north?
yes, you just lay it out per room. Also, something you can do to improve the energy, it's when you make concrete, you need cement, you need sand, and you need a gravel. Well, you can use sand and gravel that is paramagnetic, from a mine, from basalt, or from a mine from a volcanic origin. Then the rock will be the sand and the gravel will probably, most cases, will be paramagnetic. And then it will also create an antenna effect that will be amplified by the wires and the antenna. It will even increase the energy. It will be like your house is on a volcano. It will increase. It will increase a lot the antenna effect, the resonance effect with the Earth magnetic field.
Okay.
If you use sand or gravel that is not paramagnetic, there will be less energy. It's also okay, huh? But you will have less of that antenna effect. If it's, for example, a room to preserve food, then it's very good also because it will preserve the food a longer time, a really longer time, maybe 2 times.
Well, you can
more,
save a
maybe.
lot on your electrical bills if you have a way to make your food last longer without electricity. I love it.
Yes,
Okay.
when your food is in good shape, good energy, it will not really decay. It will just dry out and dehydrate like in a pyramid. It will
Yeah.
not decay. So it will still stay food. You just have to hydrate it if it's a fruit or something. But if it's not in good energy, then it will rot, then it will decay. Then you will have harmful bacteria that will develop itself and it will rot. But cancer, a lot of cancers or kind of sicknesses is like a decay of our bodies. But if we are in good energy, we don't decay. We just stay healthy until the end. At a certain moment, we will be old, and at a certain moment, it will be the end time for us. But we can also die in good shape.
Right,
and,
right,
and healthy.
absolutely.
We don't need to die because of cancer or a lot of sickness. No, we can also just go to sleep, and one morning we don't wake up. We wake up in another dimension.
Got it. No, it made a lot of what you're doing. So one other question that I think the team has is, if a house has its varying levels of amount of material that's been underneath the for the flooring before they put concrete on, does it matter how far of a distance it is from Earth itself with all the original materials that were on the ground of the Earth, or does that not make a difference? May not be a clear question, sorry.
I didn't understand very well the question, but it makes me think on a certain point I want to say is that what can be also very good to pay attention to, it's the materials you will use as a floor, to use natural materials. The more the house is built in natural materials, the better it will be too. Don't use plastic floor or like vinyl or things like that, or kind of carpets that are not in natural materials. It's not good, because the magnetic field will go through the material, and you will be influenced by like the magnetic fingerprint or frequencies of that material that will go through your energy. And so it's important to live in most old houses or modern ecological houses or in natural materials. It can be very important.
Good point.
The,
really good point.
The artificial, like all kinds of plastics or materials, you don't find in nature, and then you will not find those frequencies in nature too. And those frequencies will create a disruption. It's like electromagnetic pollution. It's quite the same effect. It will create chaos in our energy field. And so it's important, the most we will use natural materials, the most it will be also amplified by that antenna, and it will be also more healthy. It will be for our well-being.
Terrific. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Yannick, this is great. This is a really great introduction to this concept of energetic resonance with our Earth's natural fields. This is really good for wellness. I think this is a very good start of an overview of how to implement it. So it's galvanized wire, galvanized steel wire, oriented from a south to north orientation by room, as close as you can to either the initial pouring of concrete into the ground, only using natural flooring materials. The magnet goes on the southern orientation of the wire, and this effect is not only from the ground up, but it goes through all the different layers of the house. So this is very exciting. So we'll put down here. We'll stop here at this point. So because I think this is a great introduction. Thank you. So this is the tutorial, the theory behind it, the actual practical implementation of this process. And I think it's really exciting. I'm going to put it into the house. The team may have some questions for you. If there are other questions, we'll do a follow-up video so everybody else can see the questions that we've had as they go and consider implementing this into their homes. I think that it's a really important thing to do for increased energy and wellness, but also I love the idea of protection for electromagnetic pollution, which we're all subjected to. So Yannick, we will get links to your channel. And then we'd also love to give a link to the book that you mentioned from Flow. So there's other background that people can do, but this is one video in a series of videos that we're going to continue to do with Yannick. And thank you for your expertise and your time and your patience for going through this. It's really an exciting time to start bringing these concepts, whether we call them new or going back to old, back into our homes. Is there anything you'd like to say before we say goodnight to everybody, Yannick?
Thank you to all for listening. And yes, like you say, if they have questions, we can organize a live, for example, or something to ask to answer the questions. But like we see, it's quite easy to do. It's just about knowledge and to make it and to do it correctly, and then we will see results. And I would be very happy when that the people that will do it share pictures and testimonials how they do it, and that's also what I like very much. It's to share on the groups on social media what we do, and so it helps everybody to go further and to learn, and it's like this that that all those electroculture techniques develops itself. It's like we are all part of the research.
Exactly. I
and,
love that. Exactly. The feedback is the research data.
Application development. Yeah.
Terrific.
So thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you. Fantastic. We really appreciated that. So have a good one and have a great evening, and we'll continue to follow up with that. Thanks, everybody.